It's Ehizoje, everyone's favorite Nigerian.
This that real life shit, nigga.
I didn't know. I told y'all, man. That liquor be fucking me up.
This episode of Did Trump do that? And you know the answer is always yes, that motherfucker did. And today we are going to be talking about the big, beautiful bill. This nigga is good at branding. That's
I was
what
about to say.
he knows how to brand
That
something.
motherfucker gonna name some shit now, man.
He'll sell you a pile of shit, but it's
You gonna call it something fly?
Yeah, it's gonna sound good though.
I seen a picture of Bill Walton on Twitter, and they say this is the only big beautiful bill I acknowledge.
All right, so obviously this has been something that's been in the works for last I want to say 2 months. We've been hearing about this big beautiful bill. From the outset, it's like, hey, this is a bad idea. Like, you're gonna add trillions to our deficit. Something that they were supposed to cut down on. Both sides, both Democrats and Republicans, do not like this bill. But for some reason, Republicans, I don't know what he has on these Republicans, but
Bro, mind Joe fucking
ChatGPT, right?
Mind Joe fucking
You got it, bro.
But I'm just gonna do a brief overview. This is like a 1,000-page bill. So
Yeah.
like a lot of these senators and House of Representatives, they even said after they voted on it, hey, we didn't read everything. So it's kind of unfortunate that those are the people representing us in the government. But you're gonna see cuts to Medicaid, which every state runs through Medicaid, even if it's not called Medicaid. I think California is called Medi-Cal, but every state has a different version of it. There's gonna be a lot of cuts. So if you or someone you know is off of Medicaid, you better check to make sure you're still approved for Medicaid. I'm just gonna hit the big ones. There's gonna be cuts to food benefits. So if you hungry,
Snap and Wake and everything.
Cow Fresh.
if you hungry, you're gonna stay hungry. I'm sorry. There's gonna be $150 billion added to the military budget. I wonder why.
Because we finna go to war.
150 million at it?
150 billion.
Billion.
Wow.
But it's already our biggest.
Our biggest expenditure.
Yeah, so.
Wow.
I got that part though, for real. Because we I'm not trying to be on I know everybody on Twitter think they, political scientists, whatever the fuck. There's this nigga I follow. I can't remember his name, but when I do, I'll shoot it to EJ. Maybe he could put it in the link or something. This nigga break down all that shit, the financial spending trends and what they usually correlate with. We're a billion% going to war at some point within the next 5 years with China or with Russia, possibly both. And you can tell by they've been upping their spending over the past 15 years or something like that. They've been upping their spending incrementally to where now theirs is comparable with, the other superpowers. And then Russia, you got Putin, North Korea, Israel. There's going to be a world war within Trump's presidency.
So here's the issue though with the increase in the budget. $100 billion of that is going to ICE. $100 billion.
It's going out of the 150?
Out of the 150.
Oh, no.
Out of the 150 is going to immigration and customs enforcement.
But does that include that Golden Dome that he's talking about?
In regards to?
I'm wondering if the Golden Dome is listed under ICE because read what you just read about ICE again.
Immigration and customs enforcement.
No, so that can't be that. Cause I'm they're, sometimes the government will say that they'll put the money in one area, but then it's you find out that area was also in charge of this other small thing. It seems like they're trying to hide that money.
Well, part of it is it is listed in the bill that they're going to attempt to build the Golden Dome.
Yeah, I think that's what that money
is. Wait, what's this Golden Dome shit?
It's a missile. You know how Iran, is it Iran or Israel that has the Iron Dome?
It's Israel that has the Iron Dome.
Okay.
And that do you know? So have you ever seen those movies where it'll be a military movie or whatever the fuck, and country A is sending missiles to attack country B. Somewhere between them leaving country A and getting to country B, these projectiles will come up and shoot it down, basically, right?
The interceptor?
Yes. Yeah. So that's the Iron Dome, which is what Israel has, which is why a lot of times when you hear these the counts of the missiles that are being shot from Iran to Israel or whatever, it's it seems like an exorbitant amount, but that's because they'll send 100 and 20 of them will actually touch soil and do damage.
Okay.
So the United States it's very interestingly positioned because if you look at it, the only people who could attack us would be Canada and Mexico. Mexico is our ally through military positionings and whatnot, and then Canada is literally our ally. So someone would have to come from the sea. To come from the sea, you got to come with intercontinental ballistics missiles. And America, we have defenses for that, but those shits are serious. the Golden Dome, some of those are satellites shooting shit down, like lasers or whatever, like lasers or missiles or something. So like this is gonna be some Iron Man looking shit when we finally finish this, but it'll make America like only killable from the inside because the outside will be locked up like Fort Knox, bro. It's crazy shit in there.
Shoot.
But yeah, we're looking at $3.4 trillion added to the national debt.
It's gonna cost.
This is the biggest like bill expenditure wise that we've ever had. There's going to be effects of this bill that we're gonna see for like the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
So, and it's so crazy because we're only 6 months into the second term, and I can't even say like with 100% like confidence that this will be his defining moment. He could say I feel like he has so much room for more dumb shit.
He kind of said he was gonna hit the ground running though. Well, like that whole time between his first presidency and this one, he was on Truth Social. His fans were saying it. His kids were saying it. Like, yo, if this nigga gets back in there, he finna show his ass.
I feel like, man, this second term Trump is way more dangerous than the first term Trump, because when I watch interviews, or like, I think it was some person who was like a top dude in the FBI or whatever the fuck, one of them, something. And he was saying the first term, Trump did not know anything about government. And he was kind of like they would have to teach him on his, like, I think now that he has like a grasp of how things work a little bit, he's a little bit more intentional with his fuckery.
I don't think it's even a little bit. This is like Trump is in. This is his final form.
He's
like
playing with house money.
Yeah, because it's kind.
He's like, what they gonna do?
What are you gonna do? You're gonna impeach me?
You already did that.
Yeah, you're gonna try and shoot me? Tried that. You're gonna say I can't run for office because I'm a felon? Here I am.
Dog,
you can't arrest me no more because I low at the Supreme Court. They said, hey, anything I do while I'm president don't matter.
That's the thing. That right there. That's like I tell people all the time. Everyone always talks about the president and his importance and whatnot because he's the figurehead. But in a lot of regards, the president is like hamstrung by the judicial system.
Checks and balances.
The judicial system historically has been more closely lined with like the middle ground.
Yeah.
When he loaded that the Supreme Court, I remember one of my professors was telling me, he was like, people don't understand this is the biggest win he could have ever gotten because they lose the House and they get it back. That's always going to be a back and forth. The Supreme Court positions are until death.
Yeah.
Those dudes are up there. We have a Republican Supreme Court.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I've been said like that was the biggest thing Trump did during his like first election.
Look at the stuff they started digging up.
Because like, bro, literally he could do almost anything he wants. Like if it's something he actually wants, if he actually cares about it, he could press them to like essentially influence like their decisions to rule in his favor.
And they're to a level more powerful than him because so much of the law, like I was talking to one of my homies about this the other day, so much of the legal field is just based on interpretation. Yeah. Which literally just means I read it and this is what I think it means. That's like, you can be bullshit and nobody can say no because you're the highest court in the land.
That's why you have so many variances when it comes to sentencing. We're going to talk about the day trial in a bit. But also another thing is like the only time they're ever going to stand up to Trump is if he's trying to
take their power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like that's why you saw that line get like, hey, this is the line, like really early. I think it was like within the second month, they're all like, no, you can't do this. You can't overrule what a judge says. But everything else, it seems to be like
because that's another thing I think people don't take into account when they notice like all these positions are people and they're like kind of jockeying, like fighting against each other. Yeah. Trump, like you said earlier, was learning on the job. These Supreme Court justices have been judges for decades. And then they've been Supreme Court justices, also some of them for decades. They've been doing this job for like the majority of their adult lives, low-key. They're not going to be tricked or like pushed around by a dude who came in and it's like, bro, you weren't even looking into politics till a few years ago. Right. I wasn't like, these dudes were in law school a few years ago. I mean, like they were judges a few years. The Supreme Court, they finna fuck over a lot of stuff too. We just gonna see the effects over time.
That was this episode's of Did Trump do that? And you know the answer is always yes, that motherfucker did. I don't want to jump straight into the Diddy thing, even though it's an obvious segue now that we're talking about judges. I do want to go into some lighthearted stuff first. You know,
before we get back into the fucked up shit.
Yeah, speaking of checks and balances, you know.